Yo, what's up, everybody? This is Super Ninja Austin here, back with another video, which is this. This is the 80th, and I mean the 80th edition of the SNA podcast, the AEW Rampage / Battle of the Belts Part 8, Part 10. Let's begin. I'm going to start off with Bryan Danielson taking on Andrade El Idolo in a one-on-one match. We're going to start that right now. With them going grappling back and forth and stuff. This is where they would go grappling, going back and forth, and then they did the Ring of Honor style handshake and this is where the fans start saying "just as awesome" repeatedly with the claps and then this really is awesome because this is the first time they had a match with one another. Like, this is the first marquee one-on-one match. This is where Andrade was doing the grapples, doing it grappling, put them right across they put them right against the the right side of the ropes. This is where the referee did his count 1, 2, 3, 4. This is where he let go, and then this is where he started doing the grappling maneuver, like with them twisting, with Bryan Danielson intercepting the grasp of Andrade, twisting his arm right here. This is where Andrade was like, "Oh no, you're not gonna do this." This is where he started twisting his arm, twisted back to a hammerlock, put him in the back maneuver. This is where he tried to spin them around. This is where Bryan Danielson was countering, though. This is where he twisted his arm back and on Andrade. This is where he tried to Irish whip him. This is where Bryan Danielson puts him on the ropes. This is where he does a friendly tap right onto Andrade. Andrade, like, just for the funny side, to pay him back for what he was doing, they did to him. And then this is where they go for a final grapple, like with the holding on to each other with the grasp. This is where Andrade grabs him by the arm. This is where he twisted him back. And then this is where Andrade probably got him down to his knees, twisting his arm back. And then this is where Bryan Danielson was countering the move, or trying to get out of the maneuver. This is where Bryan Danielson and rolled and then do flips, do the flip, and then do the arm kip up. Arm stretch, and then a kip up, I should say, and then did an arm drag to Andrade, bringing him down in the process. This is where Andrade kicks him in the mid. This is where he got back up. Andrade kicks him in the midsection. Try to go for a gut wrench gory lock, which he had it in the lock. He got it locked in. I was like I've seen plenty of wrestlers doing this maneuver before, but I never thought that I would never thought that they would do. I never thought he would do it like in this manner. Of course, this is where Andrade goes for the roll up, but he gets interrupted by the American Dragon. Bryan Danielson was kicked out of it. This is where he got back up, spinned around with Andrade. This is where Andrade grabs him in the headlock, and then this is where the referee, this is where the Bryan Danielson was get back up, trying to get out of the maneuver. But he got locked in. Bryan Danielson tried to get him down, but he only got him down on one knee. He still was having him into the hold. This is where Bryan Danielson dips him right into the bottom side ropes. Irish whipped him in the other side, gets him with a shoulder tackle. This is where Andrade adjusted his arm. This is where he goes for another one. Bryan Danielson ducks, hits a leapfrog, and then he flips over. This is where Bryan Danielson gets slammed and hits a headlock slam on Andrade. This is where Bryan Danielson tried to grab him onto his legs. Like, after he did so, they go for a counter. This is where Andrade flips out of it. This is where Bryan Danielson, not Bryan Danielson. This is where Andrade brings him back down. This is where Andrade goes for a leg lock on his own right around Bryan Danielson's head. And no, that's right. They handshake like afterwards, like Ring of Honor style, of course. This is where they were in the final round. This is where Andrade won. They try to go for a headlock between his legs. This is where Bryan Danielson grabs, flips out of it, or rolls out of it, I should say, and grab onto his leg, tied them together into some. I can feel like if his legs are like a human pretzel, like a human limb pretzel, I should say. This is where he tied his legs together. Yeah, tied his legs together, and then he go right to the back of his side and grabbing onto Andrade's head, and then he got it into a stretch, like at the knees, right onto his back, like flipping him over in this position, like with his face up in the air. This is where Andrade finally got out of it. This is where he what's it called? This is where Andrade turns over, flips out of it. This is where Andrade got out of it. He tried to go for the figure eight, that's right. And then this is where Bryan Danielson went for the label lock. But he got out of that. Andrade got out of that. This was like nothing but reversals and counters, like nothing but all that into the match, along with Andrade El Idolo was going for like going like in a battle of, like if they were a battle of chest, and then this is where they start grabbing on to their hands, trying to go for a battle who can overpower who into the arm grab. This is where Andrade kind of won, like grabbed them around in the back and then try to go for a back move. Bryan Danielson got out of it. This is where he grabs onto his arm, brings Andrade down. This is where he started, and he got him back up. He twisted his arm. He tried to go for the label lock, but Andrade was trying to go for the figure four, but Bryan Danielson kicks off. And then once again, they go for eye to eye, like for the fourth or fifth time into this match. Andrade's like, man, what can I do? Start kicking the bottom turnbuckle pad in the bottom left corner. He's like, what can I do to overpower this guy? Like, I heard this guy is the greatest in this business, but I know he was this good. And this is where he go for another grapple. This is where Bryan Danielson, I apologize, this is the last time, but this was definitely the last time. He puts him right into the corner. He hits him with a striking chop. Bryan Danielson did the Andrade, of course, right into the top corner of the ropes. And then this is where Andrade hits a chop, answering back Bryan Danielson's chop battle. This is where he started coming back, hitting chops after Danielson started doing so. I hope Gunther doesn't see this, because if he does, he's going to try to bring him back to WWE and hit him with the deadliest chops. And then this is not going to be the only time that we see chops in the match. That's right, like considering the Ring of Honor contenders match is up next after this, of course. This is where Andrade hits a knife edge chop right onto Danielson. This is where Danielson hits he tried to go for one more chop. This is where Danielson rolls out of the way. This is where he hits a chop and a roundhouse kick. This is where Bryan Danielson this is where they go going battle off with chops like repeatedly on one another. This is where Andrade was like he tried to do it a couple of times again, but he gets but when he tried to go for one more time, this is where Andrade missed Daniel Bryan by a second on the last chop. This attempt. This is where Bryan Danielson hits his roundhouse kick, and he hits a knife edge chop, and then Bryan Danielson hits another chop, and the fans start chanting yes. And then this is where Andrade hits a chop on his own, but Danielson hits a headbutt right into his head. This is where Bryan Irish whipped him right through the ropes. This is where Andrade caught between the ropes in the bottom corner, like between the top and the middle rope part of the ropes, like with him doing his pose like this, like when he lays on it, like he used to do, like in WWE. This with Bryan Danielson, really like is he really going back to this gimmick? Like really? And then this is where Bryan Danielson try to tackle him right on through the outside, but But I mean, what's his name? Probably took a page off of bullfighting, like Andrade El Idolo, because he just moved right out of the way, saying Taro to Bryan Danielson, which instead of the angry bull, he's a angry red hating goat, I should say, red hating angry goat, like which he tried to run right through, but he said Ole, he flips out of the ring, I should say. This is where Andrade El Idolo it went right for try to go for a sliding kick dive. This is where Bryan Danielson moved out of the way. He grabs onto his he put his arm into his back into a hammerlock position and rammed him right through the ring post. Bryan Danielson went right on the apron, hit a flying apron running knee on the outside, right off the apron. This is where he throws him right back in the ring. Let's see. This is where Bryan Danielson tried to go for the label lock, like and when they were inside the ring after fighting it out. This is where Andrade managed to get his foot up like less than 15 seconds after he applied the label lock hold. This is where Bryan Danielson also this is where Bryan Danielson puts Andrade right on the top ropes on the top turnbuckle. This is where Bryan Danielson goes for a back suplex maneuver onto Andrade. And this is where Andrade was starting to hit back elbow strikes to counter the maneuver. This is where he hits him with a final hit on the elbow, like to the point that he fell backwards. This is where Andrade pick up the pieces and he hits the double foot stomp right onto Bryan Danielson successfully. And then that's where he thought this was going to be it, but he should have learned from Alberto Del Rio when Alberto Del Rio tried to make that as a signature finishing move at one hand in WWE back in 2016. I get hardly brought down the likes of Kalisto, like in his feud for the United States Championship. But anyway, he tried to go for the move, but the referee counted one, the referee counted two. Even though he did it in a dominant fashion, Danielson kicks out at 2.999. Yeah, that move doesn't really work. It's almost the second least most devastating move in all sports entertainment next to the Boot Thunder Bomb. This is where Andrade El Idolo, I believe, went on the top rope, I believe. Yeah, that's right. He tried to go on the top rope. This is where he tried to go for that double. I believe he tried to go for a double moonsault. Bryan Danielson counters it, grabs his head, grabs his hand, starts stomping on his head like he usually would do. And then this is where he hits the label lock right onto Andrade. But somehow Andrade grabs onto his hand, and freed himself out of the hold. This is where Andrade El Idolo hits a figure four leg lock. Bryan Danielson was like, no, please let go. No, please, I'm begging you, get out. Oh. And this is where Andrade tried to go for the figure eight. This is where Bryan Danielson finally grabs onto him before he can even turn the figure four into a figure eight he had into the lock on Bryan Danielson's leg. I was like, yeah, luckily he got on the legs, because if somehow Andrade figure out to turn the figure four to a figure eight, like he would basically snap and break and even dismantle the legs of Bryan Danielson, and he probably would never do the running knee ever again. Luckily that didn't happen. This is where he tried to go for some more chops. I was like I'm praying for these two guys. Like hopefully they don't be added to the envious list, because they were doing it so much to the point that their chest starting to turn red. I was like, hopefully Gunther don't see this, and he will basically whack and murk them. Whether if they bring him back to WWE or just straight up out into AEW on the Saturday night show. But I don't think he's gonna go to the Saturday night show. I think he's probably gonna remember this. It's like whenever he has a match with him, he's gonna finally gonna do these moves on him. But this is where Andrade goes for this is where he had Bryan Danielson. But anyway, this is where he hits him so hard to chop. He made Bryan Danielson went flat onto the I'll say, yeah, flat onto the bottom right corner into the bottom turnbuckle pad into Tina the Turnbuckle. This is where Danielson. Andrade El Idolo tried to go for the running knee strike. This is where he nearly gets running knee onto Bryan Danielson in the interception, but luckily for Andrade, he moved out of the way just an inch of a second right on time. This is where he flips and he goes for he pushes him right to the top left corner of Tina the Turnbuckle, and then rolls up and try to go for a German suplex or not rolling a German suplex. This is where he turns into the surprise roll-up, which is known as the most devastating move in all sports entertainment. This is where Bryan Danielson flips out of it at the count of one and did his own version of the most devastating move of all sports entertainment. This is where I'm trying to reverse, but he flips out of it and turns into a new roll-up, we grabbing onto his legs. This is where referee counted one, referee counted two, but Andrade kicks out. This is where Andrade gets out and flips over to his version of the surprise roll-up. 1, 2. And this started to remind me of TNA back in the day when me and my brother used to watch it into the mid-2000s. Like when, I forget who was wrestling at the time, but they would keep doing surprise roll-ups and back and forth to each other, which I think it beat that record and like other wrestling matches in AEW did. Like hitting the most devastating move in all sports entertainment, the surprise roll-up. This is where Bryan Danielson goes for another roll-up to him, but Andrade hits a backslide, but he got out of it. And this is where Bryan Danielson hits a crucifix roll-up, which he finally does get the 1, 2, 3, and Bryan Danielson gets the win. And then this is where Andrade handshake. They raise hands with each other and say, "You did a great fight," and they respectfully complimented their performance. And then this is what Bryan Danielson celebrated. I was like, I don't think these guys ever wrestled before, not even in WWE. Like, I think both of their wives have, both Charlotte Flair and Brie Bella, or going by the name Brie Garcia. But yeah, they faced each other. It was for the Divas Championship back in 2016. It was I believe, Fastlane. But yeah, make sure to check that out exclusively on Peacock. But anyways, Bryan Danielson gets the win. He celebrated a bit until they move on, shifting gears to another angle in AEW's Collision. But before I even talk about that, the lights went out, and this is where we saw a surprising return of Malachi Black. Yep, I just said Malachi Black. And I was just thinking about, like, when is the House of Black going to return? And I was like, I guess I'm going to figure her out, like, in the next couple of days. At this upcoming AEW Collision, episode of AEW Collision, which we finally get to see him back. He hits him with the black mask. This is where the Blackpool Combat Club's Claudio Castagnoli, I believe, or Claudio Castagnoli, I believe it was, yeah, and Willa Yuta. Like, did they came out? Oh yeah, they did. They ran them out of there, but the lights went out, and I was like, oh brother, like, yeah, like, we're gonna. I was like, this has me think like this. I just did this feud on Universe Mode WWE 2K22 on AEW. At AEW, I believe was Double or Nothing. Yeah, it was a 6-man tornado tag match with the House of Black against the Blackpool Combat Club. And I need to start making a blog about Universe Mode on my YouTube content on this channel. But yeah, what do you think about this? Possibly this latest feud with the BPCC against the HOB, which is the House of Black, of course. Y'all let me know in the comments below about how you feel about this. But let's move on. But we're gonna fully move on to which is a backstage, like a promo package segment with Nick, talking about Nick Wayne, about him betraying him and for the fact that he listened to the fans, or not to the fans, more like the haters online about Nick Wayne's not ready of being in the squared circle. And squared circle, the guys that criticized him into the squared circle, and making his AEW debut in the square circle, I should say. And Darby Allin was basically stating that, saying yeah, God said you were not ready. Like, you're only 18. Like, you're way too young for this. Like, and we showed them critics proved them wrong on that age did not matter at the time. But you Darby Allin, just listen to them. Like, when you betrayed me at AEW at Wrestle Dream. And then you said you broke my arm, but I managed to take a tooth of yours. Like, when I bashed you right to the concrete floor. Like, and then I'm gonna do so many lot more. And then these critics that you're supporting, like, and these critics that you're supporting, like, they're not gonna be nowhere around in your deathbed. Like, basically, that's what he's stating. This is where Darby Allin's like, and then at Dynamite, like, I'm gonna be there when Tony Khan gives my best friend Sting his present, and he's like, and then and if that's what I think, and he's like, if this is what I think it is, man, it's gonna be special. Which he's assuming that it's gonna be a tag team match with Nick Wayne and Luchasaurus against Darby Allin and Sting. Or it could be a 6-man tag match. It could be Adam Copeland be on Team Darby Allin and Sting against Team Christian Cage with Nick Wayne and Luchasaurus. What do y'all think? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. And we got Sky Blue taking on this enhancement talent named Hollywood Haley, which they said she's a second-generation superstar. I was like, I wonder who one of her parents was. I wonder who was her who was a huge wrestling star, I should say, that she's related to. Like, who's her father and mother that used to wrestle in the square circle, if not still active in the square circle, whether if they're in a professional wrestling promotion or in a pro wrestling or not in the independent wrestling circuit, or even in the pro wrestling league. But yeah, either way, like, she's known as that. This is where she went head to head. This is where Sky Blue did the most rarest thing in overall her wrestling career. She just hit a headbutt push up into Hollywood Holly's head, or Haley, not Harley, Haley, Hollywood Haley. This is where she shoves Hollywood Haley in the face. This is where she hit the right strike and the chop right on the Sky Blue. This is where she tried to run right into a running striking move or running attack move onto Sky Blue. But Sky Blue intercepts, outsmarting her by running exactly where she was running at. Hits a flying clothesline. And then this is where Sky Blue started hitting right hands right onto the head of Hollywood Haley, like, striking. She wasn't playing, like, at all. And I was like, man, this match didn't last for long. Like I'll say perhaps less than 5 minutes. Like, it probably had a couple, barely had like 2 or 3 minutes into this match. This is where she hits the sunset flip, like a more lazy, I should say, perhaps. No disrespect to Sky Blue, but she hits it into more like a most devastating move in all sports entertainment, the surprise roll up. But she got 1, 2, 3, and then she's starting to get more worse than she ever been, like, for the past couple of weeks, of showing an edgier dark side, perhaps, to say the least. Like, and then she looks very creepy, like very creepy, more worse than Julia Hart with the black mist eyeliner, and then the black mist lipstick that she has. Like, I was like, okay, like, I don't know what this is all about. And what do you think about this? Like, and what do you think about this? Like, being a potential heel turn from Sky Blue, like, being in the dark side. Like, y'all let me know down in the if not already. Y'all let me know down in the comments below. Sorry about this. We're going to move on to the next we're gonna move on to the next match. It is the but we're gonna move on to the Guns taking on these two tag team enhancement talents called the Outrunners. Please bear with me for not knowing their individual names right now. But yeah, we're gonna move on. I would call one of them with the Mohawk mullet, and then the other one's probably the Mohawk ponytail. But the Mohawk mullet was taking on Colton Gunn. This is where he arm drags a Colton Gunn, and he starts spinning around, celebrating, gloating. I was like, yo, mullet, like long mullet, like you don't celebrate just yet unless you beat them, but you can't. You can't just do that. Like, you should know that. Like, or else why you're in the squared circle if you don't know that you should not go, unless you forgot about that. But this is where he does another grapple onto Colton Gunn, but he hits a hip toss. And he just started hitting the flex, doing the flex muscle, spinning around. That's why he's a modern day 1980s tag team. This is where Colton goes, I have enough of this. He hit a strike on his own, hits a headlock, throws him right to the bottom left corner of Team of the Turnbuckle, starting to stomp on him into the bottom turnbuckle. This is where he started stomping so much to the point that he could have won with just that stomping of a mud hole. And this is where the ponytail, Mohawk ponytail outrunner trying to help his mullet best friend out. This is where he gets a drop kick by Colton Gunn. This is where he tags in his brother Austin Gunn. This is where he throws the ponytail brother right into his mullet brother, right into the corner of Team of the Turnbuckle in the bottom left corner into the bottom turnbuckle of the corner. This is where he starts stomping on both men. This is where he throws him out of the ring. This is where Austin Gunn tags in his brother, tags in his brother Colton. I was like, man, I thought the Sky Blue versus Hollywood Haley match was the shortest match of the night. I was like, nope, this match barely lasted for 1 minute because this is where they hit the flapjack facebuster majig. He got the 1, 2, 3. And I was like, wow, like this, perhaps this is the shortest match. This is where Switchblade Jay White celebrated a bit before they had a chance to leave the arena at least. This is where the Titantron screen pops up, and then there's a guy in a black figure outfit with MJF's devil mask on. I was like, well, wait, what? Like, this must be the guy that's framing MJF. The same guy that possibly jumped Jay White when he had his devil minions beating him up into a 10-1 disadvantage beatdown on the Jay White back a few weeks ago. And I was like, who could be possibly in this devil mask that's framing the salt of the earth and our scumbag? And what y'all think? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. And we're gonna move on to the next match. And they also advertised the Dynamite Diamond Battle Royal. The Dynamite Diamond Ring match with MJF against Juice Robinson. And who do you think is going to win that Dynamite Diamond Ring match? And do you think MJF is going to retain for the 5th year in a row, or do you think that we're going to have a new Dynamite Diamond Ring winner out of the Rock Hard Juice Robinson? Y'all let me know down below. We're going to move on with Orange Cassidy in a backstage interview with Lexi, with her asking a couple questions because later on he's gonna defend his international championship against the number 1 contender from last night's triple threat number 1 contenders match, John Silver, which that's later on at the opening of Battle of the Belts, which we're going to talk about that in just a moment here. And then also she asked a couple questions and then before she can ask before Orange Cassidy can answer that, this is where where Lexi also said, well, she didn't interrupt, but she also said Chris Statlander is also going to have her championship against and afterwards, like your best friend Chris Statlander is going to defend her TBS championship against Willow Nightingale tonight. This is where, speaking of the devil, or shall I say, of the alien, I should say, because she's the most friendliest and nicest girl. Even though she's tough as hell, like I had to take a power bomb from her on AEW Fight Forever, but she's the nicest girl that you could possibly ever meet. This is where she came in. This is where she spinned around right behind pacing on right behind Orange Cassidy and Lexi, and then she was getting ready to do some training squats routines. Like she was trying to see where she could do it at. This is where she asked the question before Orange Cassidy can answer any questions that concerns both him and Chris, his best friend Chris. This is where Stan was like, I don't, if you don't mind, like I need something to pump with, like, and I don't have nothing to pump with right now. So if you don't mind if I use you as the pump with, well, I don't know. And then this is where Chris was like, perfect, like, thank you. And this is where she picks her up in the firewoman's parry position. This is where she starts squatting down, like getting the pump with, so she can get ready so her legs can be ready and flexible in her match against Willow Nightingale, because she's probably learning from Mercedes Monet's experience with Willow Nightingale, and she don't not want to have no injured legs like in the middle of the match, and that will give Willow Nightingale to get an easy advantage of winning a championship. But winning another championship with another women's wrestler that has to suffer a leg injury in the process during the match. But yeah, I'll say that was. But anyway, that's a smart move, so Willow Nightingale wouldn't get another title match due to Chris Statlander sustaining an injury, just like Monet. But yeah, and speaking of her, hopefully she gets recovered very soon, and whether if she's returns to New Japan or even signs with AEW, she could be fully cleared enough to compete. But anyway, this is where Chris Statlander started doing the squats, and then she also asked Orange Cassidy, say, so are you ready, Orange? Like, Orange, are you ready? Like, she had to keep calling Orange Cassidy to get his attention. This is where also Lexi tried to get his attention. Like, are you ready? Like, and then this is where finally Orange Cassidy flipped his shades on. He's like, yeah, I'm ready. Like, in an easy answer, like, but he said it in a guessing kind of way. Said, yeah, I guess, like, if you could say that, if I'm ready. This is where we finally get the Memphis street fight match, like, with what's his name, Jeff Jarrett taking on Eddie Kingston in basically a championship contenders match. And I'll say this is possibly, not trying to sound like a negative Nancy here, but this was the worst wrestling match, the worst match of the night, because it was an unfair advantage for poor Eddie in this match. But we're going to talk about that right here, right now, unfortunately. Like, it was Jeff Jarrett against the Ring of Honor World Champion Eddie Kingston in a contenders match with the winner. If Jeff Jarrett wins, then he gets a match. I mean, not he gets a match. His nephew Jay Lethal get a match against Eddie Kingston for the Ring of Honor Championship. And I know, even though this is all part of the script and whatnot, and just part of the show, but it's one thing to be playing a heel. It's one thing playing the role as a heel, but they went a little too far, like, to say the least, about, like, they didn't give Eddie Kingston a chance, and also, like, they didn't have to do all that just to get they did what they just did tonight, just to get an opportunity for Jay Lethal to win the championship that he put on the map. Like, that's only my opinion. This is where Jay Lethal got mad. The old commentator Dave Brown, I believe, the legendary Memphis wrestling promoter. I love the commentator right now. He was like, he got mad at him talking trash on him. This is where what's her name? This is where his wife Karen Jarrett was getting mad at Tony Schiavone, saying, like, you called me you call me an evil bitch. Like, I do not appreciate that. And then Tony Schiavone clarified that he did not call her an evil bitch. Like, and then like, I was like, yeah, he would never call her an insult like that. Like, maybe we'll take a page off of JR's playbook and call her Jezebel. But he barely called MJF that word. Call him MJF the SOB, though. Call him an SOB barely a couple of times. If he could do that, like, if he did that, like you damn sure they wouldn't call you an insult like that. He wouldn't go that far. Well, at least tonight, of course. But and then she was like, "No, you did. Like, you did call me that. I heard." But yeah, this is where we finally get the match. But before he could start in the ring, this is where he took the fight and brought down both 4 guys, both not only Jeff Jarrett, but also his nephew Jay Lethal, his best friend Sanjay Dutt, and his 7-footer best friend, what's his name, Satnam Singh, which is also he's also known as Satnam Singh, Great Khali 2.0. This is where he started hitting kendo sticks on everybody, and then this is where he whipped what's his name. This is where he whipped what's his name with the Jay Lethal with the kendo stick. He started screaming like a little 5-year-old, like, ah, mommy. And then this is where he tried to hit what's his name. He only got a couple of hits, but Satnam Singh grabbed onto the kendo stick. He snapped it into 2. This is where Eddie Kingston started hitting lefts and rights, but he nearly got choke slammed and got carried like a child. But Eddie Kingston got out of it, hits him with a low blow, kicking him right into where it hurts the most. But I think it got too distracting for him at the moment, because Jeff Jarrett swings and cross Eddie Kingston's face with a top of the trash can lid. The trash can lid hit him a couple times in the head with it. Eddie Kingston's like, ow, oh my God, like, it may not hurt too bad, but it still hurts a lot, like, when you take the blow. And then he also gets hit with hit him with a couple of boxes full of stuff, like from like a typical Memphis barbecue cookout, and on this table. This is where he dragged them dragged him right into the side of the stage, where it has this other table with coolers and this and bags of popcorn. This is where Eddie Kingston started striking him back, like fighting back. This is where he started choking Jeff Jarrett and started hitting him with right hands right into his head. This is where Eddie Kingston hits him like ding, like if he hit him with a gong, a thingamajig. You hit him with a gong, like ding, like knock this clocks out, like whatever that means, like cuckoo, like with the top of the lid, trash can, the trash can lid, I should call it. Is where he rolled in the cooler and hit him right into the family jewels with the cooler, like, oh my God, like, ow, like that hurts. I was like, I hope Jeff Jarrett has kids now. Like, oh yeah, that's right, he does. Like, because it looks like him and Karen Jarrett not gonna bring in another member of the family anytime soon. Of course, bringing a new member of the family, I should describe. This is where Eddie Kingston started hitting hot dog buns out of the coolers, hitting them. Like, I was like, luckily it's not put on ice, because he would have froze them to death. And I noticed, couldn't help but notice he had an Eli Manning shirt, because he obviously is from New York. And this is where he took him out of the picnic table and he tried to throw him right into the former Barry Barricade, but he kicks and he got his leg up, and then he countered it. He hit him with a right hand right into Eddie Kingston's midsection. He rammed him right into Barry Barricade, and then this is where he slid that specific railing part of Barry Barricade off the hinge, off the barricade, and tossed it right into Eddie Kingston's face. And then this is where Eddie Kingston tried to move. This is where he hit a strike right up to Jeff Jarrett. He tried to move the picnic table out of the way so he can get ready to fight him more into all across the stage area. This is where he managed to get striked by Eddie Kingston. And then this is where Jeff Jarrett tried to blind his eyes with the ketchup and mustard bottles, and then this is where Eddie Kingston did the smartest move of the night and kicked him in the midsection, and then made sure to prevent him from doing that. He grabbed the exact same ketchup and mustard bottles. I'm not sure if it really was, but he grabbed him. He started squeezing the bottle out of. He squeezed the bottle out of his eyes, like squeezing it, like my eyes, I know, like. He started squeezing them with the ketchup and mustard bottles, like all across his face and his eyes, like right, and he started, and then he hits him with a right handful of the mustard bottle into Jeff Jarrett's face, and he squeezed the remaining ketchup out of the ketchup bottle into Jeff Jarrett's face, blinding him in the process. This way, he put him right onto the table. This is where he tried to hit him. This is where he tried to hit a flying splash or headbutt right off the stage and right through the table that Jeff Jarrett was in. But this is where Jeff Jarrett's wife was definitely the evilest bitch of the night, because she just raked Eddie Kingston in the eyes. I was like, and then this is where what's his name? Tony Schiavone, my apologies. I'm half tired right now. I think I should not be doing this right now, but the show must go on, and I want to get it over with. But anyway, this is where Karen Jarrett came in, raked him in the eye. This is where Tony Schiavone admitted, she was like, all right, like I admit that she now is a evil bitch for doing this. And this is where Jay Lethal came in there, took Eddie Kingston in control, hits him with a flying cutter off the stage right through the table with Jeff Jarrett rolling out of the way. This is where they try to bring him back in the ring. And then this is where Karen Jarrett started rubbing into, and this is where Karen Jarrett thought Karen Jarrett was going straight to the commentator. This is where Nigel McGuinness was starting to be like Corey Graves and trying to throw his colleague. His fellow colleague slash his fellow commentating colleague, I should say, because that's what when he started throwing Tony Schiavone under the bus, saying like it was Schiavone that called you the evil bitch, and then this is where the ref. I think it looks like my video is going to definitely get a PG-13 rating for saying that so much, and definitely going to be TV-14 for TV side of things. But this is where she started yelling at fans like shut up, like quit booing me and my husband and his nephews, like quit that. And then this is where Jeff Jarrett got this little microphone holder and started throwing that out, and then the chairs, and then and then this is where he hits him with the chair or foot or I should say a little like a desk stool. I should say a little desk, and he started continuing to hit that bad leg of what's his name of Eddie Kingston, and start repeatedly hitting him with the trash can lid, like slamming it repeatedly in the process. This is where he flips him over. This is where Eddie Kingston hits a striking slap. This is where Jeff Jarrett hits Eddie Kingston with a trash can. This is where Jeff Jarrett was like, no more, like, finish him. And then this is where he tried to go for the figure four leg lock, and this is where he got it locked in, like, he's squeezing in so bad to the point that he could have easily snap Eddie Kingston's leg off. And then this is where Eddie Kingston was like, no, I'm not giving up. I'm not surrendering. He's like, I'd rather you break my leg before I would submit to you, you country SOB. Even I know for you viewers thinking saying what difference does it make for you cussing about his wife being a evil B? Like why would you say the initials of SOB to say the initial SOB to Jeff Jarrett when you're recapping what Eddie Kingston said, and also yesterday you just said that he's a country bitch to Jeff Jarrett when Eddie Kingston said that last night's Rampage. Well, I'm trying to keep this still PG despite AEW show being TV-14. But anyway, this is where This is where he laid down and nearly fainted in 1 second into the match. This is where the referee was counted 1, counted 2, but Eddie Kingston managed to get back up. This is where Jeff Jarrett was still continuously had the figure 4 leg lock on. He was like, "Come on, yeah, hit me, Eddie, give me the strike you got." And this is where he hits the strike, like slaps and punches onto him. This is where Eddie Kingston's like, "Man, this is so much pain. Like I ever felt this pain before. I took in chops, I took in punches, I took in barbed wire strikes, I took in every single extreme move, but this haven't been this much. I haven't felt this much pain from neither of them combined." And then this is where Eddie Kingston finally rolled out of the way. Not rolled out of the way, more like rolled out of the. This is where he rolled and backwards and going and doing a reverse version of the figure 4 leg lock, making Jeff Jarrett feel the backfire aftermath effects into the reversal of Eddie Kingston. This is where Jay Lethal went right on the top rope, tried to get Eddie Kingston off of Jeff Jarrett, like trying to go for a mic drop, elbow drop. I understand why I reference Max Caster into this match. This is where Eddie Kingston did the second smartest maneuver into this match by rolling out of the way before he can even strike his elbow drop right onto him. This is where Jeff Jarrett gets back up along with Eddie Kingston and Jay Lethal. This is where Eddie Kingston strikes Jay Lethal with a striking right hand. This is where he hits a chop right onto both Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett. I was like, wow, like he's definitely gonna be on the maximum. He's gonna be on going to be on the maximum list onto of Gunther's envious list, I should say, the top of the list of Gunther's maximum envious list, because he started doing chops to the point that he earned himself the number 1 list by repeatedly chopping Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett. When he started hitting punches and chops on both men, like I was like, wow, like this is like if there's 2 of him, like if there really is Eddie Kingston twins, like his fellow Puerto Rican bros, what's his name? Santana and Ortiz. My apologies. My mind's kind of blank right now. I just need to start thinking on what I'm saying to recap this. My apologies for being way off right now. I'm just trying to remember everything to talk about on this video. But this is where he started hitting chops repeatedly. I was like, dang, Gunther's definitely gonna remember him. Like in case if Gunther go back as Walter and go back as the name Walter, but in AEW, or if Eddie Kingston finally makes his WWE debut, like Gunther's probably gonna remember. He's gonna get a match. He's gonna try to murk him when they step foot in the ring face to face. But this is where Eddie Kingston hits a striking knife edge chop. This is where they start hitting the chops repeatedly to Jeff Jarrett this time, Jay Lethal's uncle, of course. This is where Sanjay Dutt tried to hit the right hand strike, but he hits him so hard. But Eddie Kingston dodges his blow and struck at him so hard to the point that he started doing flying cartwheels in 5 feet in the air, like if he's some kind of a cartwheeling tumbleweed. This is where like a cartwheel tumbleweed into the desert, but obviously not in Tennessee because there's no such thing as a Tennessee desert. This is where he started hitting chops onto Sanjay Dutt. This is where Karen Jarrett tried to get involved, but he put her right in front of Sanjay Dutt and getting ready to join the chops. Like I was like, go ahead and do it, Eddie Kingston. Like don't feel sorry for her, and also like don't take a page off of WWE's playbook. Like you're gonna be regretting that in the end of this match. And then this is where Sanjay Dutt's like, no one, don't worry. Like, don't worry, Karen Jarrett. Like, I'll save you when she was screaming when Eddie Kingston was about to, but he was sort of taking him back. But he was like, okay, I may hesitate with her, but I might hesitate with you. He's where he started hitting chops on. This is where he hit the chop right onto Sanjay Dutt so hard to the point he landed back right onto hitting hard right onto Jeff Jarrett's wife, Sanjay Dutt's aunt Karen, I should say, because she is a Karen. This is where he started. This is where he hit chops a couple more times, but before that, he hits a back fist right onto Jeff Jarrett when he tried to hit him with the guitar. This is where he grabs onto the. This is where he pins. He hit the spinning back fist. This is where he pins Jeff Jarrett into a roll-up position, but the referee counted 1, referee counted 2, and he was so close to getting the 3, but Jay Lethal came in and interfered and went for the save to save his uncle Jeff Jarrett and stay in the match so he can get his opportunity for the Ring of Honor World Championship, the same championship he put on the map in pro wrestling. This is where he started hitting strikes and hitting them with punches repeatedly. And then this is where he's like, that Ring of Honor World Championship is mine. It's gonna be back in my possession in the next week. And then this is where Eddie Kingston gets out of it. This is where he started hitting punches right onto him, throwing Jay Lethal in the process. This is where he looks at Sanjay Dutt. Okay, you're next, just like your best friend. This is where he landed right back on Karen Jarrett. This is where Eddie Kingston hits a guitar right onto the Satnam Singh, I believe, right into his head. This is where he did not know where he was at the moment. This is where Jeff Jarrett did an arm twisting Russian leg sweep face buster move right on him, but he pinned when he tried to pin him. This is where the referee counted 1, 2, but he kicks out at 2.999, 0.9. And this is where everybody started hitting their respective finishing moves, like they'll put him away, like including Jay Lethal hitting the lethal injection right onto Eddie Kingston. This is like turned into a 5-on-1 handicap match, including Jeff Jarrett's wife being involved, of course. And this is where she started turning to Stephanie McMahon, like the AEW version of Stephanie McMahon, because she started repeatedly hitting slaps after slaps, repeatedly slapping, winding, and slapping like she was. And then this is where after Jeff Jarrett's lackeys, like his nephews and his wife, finished doing their moves onto Eddie Kingston. This is where he hits his finishing move on his own. He got the 1, 2, 3 and helped his nephew Jay Lethal getting the opportunity for the Ring of Honor World Championship. And it looks like it'll probably be either at the upcoming Dynamite or next Saturday on Collision. But yeah, who you think's gonna win that match? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. And if you excuse me, I'm gonna be right back. Just give me one moment. I probably got like 1 more hour, but I can stop right now. Okay, yeah. Okay, excuse me for a second. I got some outer side family business I have to take care of. I'm gonna lay you guys right up here until I come back here. Where's? Oh, there it is. All right. Okay. myself, we all have IDs. I said, he said, I didn't use somebody, but I said, we use somebody out there. Yeah, he said the house was warm. That's not far at all. That's good. I said Band-Aid for sure. What? What the thing is wrong with voicemail? Yes. Nigga. You got me in this bottle for what? I'm like, nigga. I know it seems funny, but nigga. Hey, knew that. Like, keep me posted about that other shit. I swear I can figure it out. Exactly what me and Marcus were worried about. But then drunk off too. You always tell me to do something, but I do. I do. Sorry, I'm scared. You tell me you're gonna help me do something and you don't, and then it turns out to be a piece later. So I'm hoping you really get up tomorrow about it. Because I was gonna do that shit tonight. Here you can turn it off. Anyway, if you are gonna use that program, you done with it? Okay. I'm gonna say, oh yeah, I just like getting shit done. Yeah, I'm gonna show you how to do this too. You already been down there. No, I haven't. I only do it when you do that. No, you get whenever you don't want to go to whenever. Yeah, because you don't watch public partially your fault too. That's why I try to keep up on my shit. And you seen I was doing that for like 2 months. We did that for 2 months? Nigga, trying to keep my work clothes clean because I couldn't wear anything else. Nigga, you know what I'm talking about. I would wear the same clothes all week. Not the same clothes. Like, I would have like 4 different shirts that I would wear during that whole week. I might wear it 2 times, maybe. Because I'm only wearing it to fucking work. And what we do is put cologne on. And I'm sitting at a desk for fucking 8 hours, 12 hours. I'm not even moving. So the motherfucker's still good when I get back. And I don't do shit in it. If I usually do that when I run low. When I only got them same 4 shirts. If I got 5, 6 shirts, it'd be a different story. Have one for each day of the fucking week. But we do the rock, that'd be so much better than driving all the way out there.
Yeah. And people do, but why? Yeah, he's trying to do something else. And then, he's like, no, he's a fucking bitch. That's what Joe. Joey's not reminds me of Jan. Like not as wild, but like it'll be a wild thing. It reminds me of the way he like talks and the way he like, oh no. He always trying to go, he'll go find something to get it. Like Jared just do that. But how do you even know this is going on right now? Yeah, but how do you know that's going on right now? Barney, that's what Jared used to do. He used to find shit. That's what I'm saying. And exactly. How does he even know where they are? Like that's what I want to know. I want to get plugged in like that. Like nigga, I know where I'm going after this. Niggas are sending everybody each point exactly. I'm just gonna take my phone right over there. Fuck, babe, that's going on. Something. I don't accept. It's like any better. Whole time, somebody, yeah. Yeah, everybody started telling me they like that shit. That's just good. He's almost one of them. Yeah, yeah, type shit. Yeah, let me tell them that here. Hey, should I just make my play or what? Should I just wait? I'll probably plug yours. I've already got hers plugged in with Goofy at. Where's her charger at? I'll just plug yours up to my sister's charger. I'll just plug ours up. you good? I'm at like 19, but right there, body. Shit. You good? My apologies. Thank you so much, bro. Pickles, what are you doing today? Very good. Get your ass out of here. You know better than that. Okay, back. Okay, Super Ninja Austin's back. Okay, we're gonna finish off talking about what happened on AEW along with Battle of the Belts. Okay, where was I? Oh yeah, Jeff. Oh yeah, and Jeff Jarrett won the match. He beat Eddie Kingston in an unfair manner. This will be the first time I'll do the worst match of the night on here on the SNA podcast, and they ran into a lot of wind and branches when I was taking my dogs out. Well, technically my brother, his girlfriend, and my nephew's dog, I should say. Anyways. But yeah, but Jay Lethal's going to get an opportunity. I don't know when that's going to be. If you already know, then let me know in the comments below. If there's something I forgot, just let me know. I'll love to hear that. But also, we're going to move on to the next segment or match. Okay, let's see right here. Oh, yeah, we got some, what's it called, news now. We got some Miro against Action Andretti match. We got another next was Action Andretti against Miro news. Not news match. My apologies. How silly of me. But anyways, this is where let's see who's gonna have Miro's wife as their manager in AEW. This is where he only hits him with one easy shot when he tried to go. This is when Action and Trey try to go for a springboard a splash maneuver. This is where he gets countered by the Bulgarian Brute and intercepted by him. Hit him with a striking kick to the point that he could have won with that move alone. And then we spotted a smirk from CJ Perry, aka Miro's wife, and aka Lana, when she was sitting with the commentators on who she was mostly impressed with between Miro and Action, and who deserves her management in their careers and have a successful career in All Elite Wrestling. But after this is where Miro hits a striking clothesline, like a running strike, with him having him go toward pulling Action Andretti to do so in the process. He did it again for the second time in a row. This is where Miro said, "Come on, get off your feet," which fans was definitely getting off their feet for this because it was very interesting and entertaining at the time. This is where he Irish whips Action Andretti's shoulder first right into the bottom left corner of the ring post, like through
the corner turnbuckle, the bottom left corner of the turnbuckle, and he threw him right towards it, through it, I should say, and shoulder first, right into Rita the ring post in the process, and then this is where he tossed him around right across the right around the ringside area into Barry Barricade. He also let's see. This is where they got back in the ring. This is where he tried to go for a punching strikes. But this is where Axel Andretti was starting to reverse, start hitting punches and lefts and rights. But what's his name? This is where he tried to go for punches, but instead he shoves. But this is where Axel Andretti tried to go for a swinging kick. He ducks, but he should have. But what's his name should have expected that. Like that, and you should expect the second one with a step up insecurity from Action Andretti. He took a page out of Matt Sydal, Mr. Anderson, and Shinsuke Nakamura's playbook in the process. This is where Miro was nearly down off his feet, fell down off his feet, I should say, but he was somehow still was standing. I was like, wow, like impressive. Like how in the hell did he did not get How he did not get knocked out from that exigiri kick, even though 9 times out of 10 it doesn't knock you out, but this was more had an impact into the maneuver. This is where Axel Trey had him to the corner. This is where he started hitting striking punches, possibly like 5 times in a row, which I think that's how much he did it. But I guess I was wrong. This is where he hits him 9 times in a row, but the referee was letting him know, like, don't be lingering too long, like, or he's going to give him the DQ count. This is where he got too distracted a bit too much. He got pushed off by the Bulgarian Brute. This is where he tried to go for. This is where he looked like he did try to go for a. This is where it looked like he tried to go for a springboard maneuver like on the outside, but instead he just hit a springboard flipping kick doing a front flip right through the ropes and knocking down Miro in the process off the apron. Flip back like if it was Ricochet, and then this is where Action Andretti thought this was his time. Now they do a comeback, make a comeback. This is where he hits a diving rolling senton right through Miro on the outside. CJ Perry's like, wow, like this man is not only impressive, but he's also handsome himself. I was like, you better. I don't think you can have an affair. Like, it's already bad enough you did that in WWE before. I just ask Bobby Lashley with the same man that always attract women every time. Like when women comes to his category. Like he does the satisfaction for them women. But enough about that right now. I'm like, and not to keep talking about it because Miro possibly will come in here and slam me like he just did with Action Andretti. When he tried to go for a crossbody, this is where Miro slams him face first right into the canvas. This is where he's like, time to crush. And then he stomped him right to his back. This is where he tried to go for the. And then this is where he blew a kiss to his wife, CJ Perry. This is where she was not sure how she should react to this. She had mixed feelings and reactions to her husband. She was smiling at one hand, but she turned away. It looked like she was about to roll her eyes at him. This is where he tried to put him away with his snapping Bulgarian camel clutch. But this is where Action Andretti flipped out of it. I was like, how did he do that? Like, I thought he was a gauntlet for sure with this maneuver. But no, Action Andretti flips out of it right on time. This is where he got right to the bottom, the top right corner. This is where Miro tried to splash right onto him to crush him like the dirty bug that he thought he was, like Shinsuke Nakamura thinks of Ricochet. This is where Action Andretti moved right out of the way before Miro can hit him with a spot. This is where he hits him with the most devastating move in all sports entertainment. And this looked like he was about to win because the referee counted 1, the referee counted 2, but he kicked out when the referee, as soon as the count to 3, and then it was a complete shock all around the arena in tonight's AEW collision. This is where This is where Action Andretti hits a flying head scissor DDT. This is where Action Andretti thought he had him for sure when he hit him with a buckle drop kick, which it botched into just a missile drop kick. Because Miro didn't touch the bottom left corner of the turnbuckle. This is where he hits a springboard 450 splash right onto the Bulgarian Brute. This is where he pins him, but he only got a 1.9 second count. I was like, wow, like I expected 2.999, but I didn't know he would kick out at this before the referee can count the two. That's where he picks up Miro. This is where he tried to go for a reverse fireman's carry onto the Bulgarian, but I think his back gave out, and plus Miro spinned out of it. This is where he got back up. This is where he pushed him right to the ropes. Hits a striking Bulgarian super kick right onto Action Andretti. He was like, enough with the funny business. It's time for crushing time. And then he also said game over with the fans, like game over. And then this is where he finally put him away. He put in the Bulgarian camel clutch. This is where he had no choice but to tap. No, he didn't tap. He got knocked out cold. He had no choice but to faint or else he's gonna die because he snapping his neck back while he was doing the accolade, but I don't think he would really kill him. This is just a metaphoric wrestling term. I'm using that what every wrestling journalist would say when they're doing a wrestling review. But this is where he got him locked in. He flipped him over, even though still got the hold locked in, making sure he was kayfabingly dead. Like when the referee called for the bell because he was out cold because he put his arm up like 3 times in a row. Miro's like, yeah, like my wife is now at last, my wife is finally mine, and no one's not gonna step in my way of her managing me. And it looks like CJ Perry was not buying it that she wants to have him as want to be his manager anymore. I'm not sure if she was his manager here at all, even when she made her debut. But anyways, this is where we got a backstage interview from Lexi from the number one contenders from tonight's Battle of the Belts AEW Battle of the Belts AEW Trios Championships, which is Matt Menard and Angelo Parker and Daniel Garcia with Anna Jay into the middle, like into this interview. She started asking questions to them. He's like, and we talked about last night on Rampage that the beef has been squashed, and the beef still squashed, and onto y'all's way of facing the AEW Trios Championship and possibly becoming the champs. And this is where Anna Jay rudely said, "Excuse me, little Miss Bliss," and I was like, "Wait, is that a reference to in the dig to WWE's Alexa Bliss?" It depends, but anyways. I was like, just because you didn't woke up in the right side of the bed with Jack Perry, and second of all, just because you're not getting compliments on how thickness and curvy you are, which there's not much curves and thickness in you, like everybody says. But this is where Anna Jay doesn't mean you have to be so. It doesn't mean you have to be so rude and disrespectful to the backstage interview, even though she's not really relevant. But anyway, this is where Anna Jay was like, we are on the same page, and we're on the same team, and we are professionals, and we're gonna win those trios titles tonight. And then Matt Menard's like, the whole world's gonna see that we're gonna be on the same page. I see at the 9 a.m. what we did. We had a little family visit and a couple of croissants and a couple of coffees for the boys. Like, no problem. Like, everybody's on the same page. We make sure of it. We didn't have any dancing. No dancing. It was a great morning, a great breakfast. Anna Jay's like, you know what? And this is where Anna Jay's like, all right, stop. Like, we're not gonna do this to camera again. And then Matt Menard was like, no, I was just joking. It's all just a joke. Like, but seriously, we all had a great time. Like, and he's like, you can go at it. Like, I'm out. That's what Anna Jay was like. And then this is where what's his name? Matt Menard was like, well, it was just a joke. Like, you got it, didn't you, Daniel? Like, it's just a joke. Like, at the end. And then this is where Lexi was like, do you still have time to continue his interview? And then he's like, okay. I guess now I could bring in my next guest, Ruby Soho here. And then this is where Angelo Parker was fixing up his hair, combing his hair. He ran right into Ruby Soho. This is where Ruby Soho asked curiously to Angelo Parker, saying, "Do you have some family problems? I see." And then he's like, "Well, yeah, I guess you say, but it's starting to fall apart. It's not looking good." And then this is where Ruby Soho said, "I feel you." And then she's like, at least after tonight, you could call myself a champion here. And it is where Ruby Soho was like, okay, that's sweet. And she was like, get out my shot of the interview. And it is where Angelo Parker was like, all right. Like, and this is where Ruby Soho was like, okay. And then this is where Ruby Soho was like, I'm going to have to cut you off. Like, my apologies to you, Lexi. Like, but I'm going to have to say, I couldn't help but notice from Angelo Parker that he's, like when saying Angelo Parker, but everybody like around here seems that they think that they deserve a championship. You know who deserves a championship around here? Ruby Soho here. Like, I'm just gonna lay down the gauntlet. Like, here on Collision, I'm gonna lay down this gauntlet on whoever. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Like, I don't care. I'm gonna become a champion because it's my time. And then she laid out the challenge to Hikaru Shida because this coming Wednesday, they're going to have their title match. And who do you think is going to win this? Do you think Hikaru Shida is going to walk out of AEW's Dynamite show as the AEW Women's World Championship? Or do you think Ruby Soho could walk out as the new AEW Women's World Championship? Well, I said still as the AEW Women's World Championship? I think so. But yeah, y'all let me know down in the comment section down below. We're going to move on to the next match. And then this is where we got a backstage little backstage promo from Eddie Kingston when he was with the doctor. He was saying like, he's like, you may have beaten me this time, but like the promo is the mistress, we are the men. Like, we all like this and that. Like, that used to be you, Jay. And he was like, but that was you. Like, I respect that you were like the greatest Ring of Honor World Champion, but not you anymore. Like, you could go on with your Carney uncle / best friend Jeff Jarrett, like that, or you call him Carney SOB, but I call him his uncle because that's what Jeff Jarrett that's what what's his name said. Eddie Kingston said about not Eddie Kingston. Jay Lethal said about Jeff Jarrett. His relationship is a tag team, as his uncle. But anyway, this is where he's like, you could go with him and your lapdog, Sanjay Dutt, and then you have like I used to respect you, Jay Lethal. Like, now look what you became. You are not a man anymore, Jay. Like, you're not a pro wrestler anymore. Like, you are Jeff Jarrett's little BITCH. Like, what happened to you? Like, Jeff Jarrett's like little BITC. I thought Karen was like, never mind. Like, I think she is like, he's just his nephew, BITCH. Like, but I don't know what the relations are anymore for Eddie Kingston saying that statement, but we're gonna figure it out in the upcoming future. Like, whenever that happens, only time will tell. But yeah, we're gonna see this match, and I believe Eddie Kingston's gonna win because for two reasons. One, like they easily got a win off of this, and it looks like they're gonna bounce back off of it. Like, and it's the same with the statistic with the wrestler that's gonna lose at the pay-per-view to get the upper hand at the go-home show, like whether it's from WWE or AEW. And this might be the case with this. Like, when they got the upper hand and with Jeff Jarrett winning, but Jay Lethal's going to lose, and he's not going to be the Ring of Honor World Champion ever again, at least at this time. But yeah, we're gonna see. Like I said, we're gonna see in the foreseeable future. Yeah, just let me know. Just chat away in the comments below. And he's like, and if you're a man enough, go do it, Jay. And he's like, do not bring your mother or father down to I know you are. Like, and he was like, yeah, and I include you, Jamal. Like, GD to you, Jamal. He's like, and don't bring him there. Like, the only thing that'll break my heart the most, that'll be a hurt. The only time you'll hurt the most, the fact that beat you down in front of your beautiful mother. And you know what the sick thing is? She gonna be crying in front of you, but I'm gonna keep beating you because she know that you deserve that. With the way you, because what kind of horrible person you are on here in AEW, and then you like, and then get your title shot. Go ahead and congratulate yourself, but you better find your way. You better find your way into this match before you, because you look around when you're around me again. If I'm you, damn you, Jamal. I was like, who's Jamal again? I was like, we're gonna figure out probably on his title match with his upcoming title match against Jay Lethal for the ROH World Championship. This is where we have FTR taking on these couple of jobbers, which is Bad Thad Brown and Darren Bixton, yeah, these jobbers like.
I know you're doing that shit for
Bad Thad Brown and yeah. And Bexton, yeah. Darren Bexton, yeah. Darren Bexton and that. I was like, you know, if I didn't know better, I would just hurry up and say that was Darren Young, Darren Bexton, unless it is. But this is where they started hitting, squashing them with chops and punches, then hitting moves. First, it was he tossed around what's his name? First, Cash Wheeler tossed around what's his name? Bad Thad. What's his name? Bad Thad Brown, and then he grabbed Darren Bexton, slammed him to the ring. I was like, the lights went out again. Like, really? Like, the lights really had to come at the turn. What's up with the electric? What is wrong with the electric lately on AEW? Like yeah, like that's what I was thinking at when I saw the lights went out once again for the second time, and trust me, this won't be the second time. This is the second out of the third time that the lights went out, which you're gonna see why. You're gonna see why when I get later on to this video. But yeah, and then we're gonna grab me too, yeah.
Huh?
But yeah,
Go in there.
There's something. There's something wrong with the electric in the AEW's building, or the building they were hosting their show at, because the lights went out once again. This is where the three members of House of Black, which is Malachi Black, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews, they started triple teaming poor Dax and Cash, Uncle Dax and Uncle Cash, I should call them. This is where they start stomping them down, start punching them, boom, 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 and then this is where Brody King used he started using this cash with his hand, where his broken hand where it has his broken hand on. He struck a Cash Wheeler into the face, using it as a cowardly, deadly weapon. And this is where it still was beating him down, and had him into a lifeless and helpless in a helpless situation. This is where. And then this was their second beatdown of the night, and then it looked like it's about to be the third beatdown. But we're going to, like I said, we're going to talk about that in just a moment here. Just keep watching to the very end. We'll see exactly what I mean by that, and then we're going to move on to the. But they left the arena for now for the second time in a row, and we're going to see the third time in a row. But we're going to talk about that. This is the second. But we're going to talk about that third time in a row. But we're going to move on to the next match, I believe. But they're still hyping up from the upcoming Dynamite and even at AEW's Full Gear event with MJF taking on Jay White at the event, and we're gonna. And then I believe this is where we get to the tag team match with. He called up the pad. Okay.
Yeah,
He called up how? But anyways, guys, we got the main event of the no trade. Uncle SNA got to finish up doing his podcast. Just a second, Uncle see it. He crushed it. Okay. This is where. Anyways, this is where we get. This is where we have Ricky Starks running around all across the ring. Before he got in the ring, this is where we got. Yeah, this is the main event of the evening. Well, at least in the AEW Collision side of things, which we're gonna get the AEW what's it called? AEW Battle of the Belts in just a moment. We're gonna talk about right after this match, which was Ricky Starks and Ricky Starks and Big Bill defending their AEW Tag Team Championships against the Blackpool Combat Club's two members, Claudio Castagnoli and Willer Yuta. This is where we start off with Yuta and Starks into a grappling game. This is where he goes. This is where Willer Yuta tried to grab onto a headlock position, but he got a twist right into the arm, into a hammerlock, right to the arm. Arm to the head. This is where Willer Yuta started to roll over, do a kip up. This is where he tried to go for an arm drag right onto the Ricky Starks. But this is where he twisted his arm down and then put his leg on it. This is where he started hitting strikes right onto Willer's face. And he started hitting strikes back. This is where he turned the arm, he twisted the arm right onto his leg, put it right between his left leg, I believe, into a crossface. Ricky Starks tried to roll out of it, but he turned into a crucifix roll-up, which is known as the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, the sport eyes roll. It's where Ricky Starks put right onto his leg, twisted it right into a curling, like a head curl. This is where Ricky Starks twisted his arm, put it back, going for an arm bar. This is where he doing some amateur style maneuver right onto Willer Yuta's legs. This is where Ricky Starks was like, yeah, you think you got me now? See if you can do that with my big bodyguard man right here, which was none other than Big Bill. I was like, really? That's all you got, Ricky Starks, after being intimidated by the former Ring of Honor peer champion? He was like, okay, I'm not afraid. I faced guys triple size faced guys triple your size before, which I'm not sure if he actually said that, but he may have looked like that he would. This is where Big Bill kind of intimidated him just a little bit. He knees Willer Yuta right into the midsection. This is where Willer Yuta managed to hit a knife edge chop right onto the corner into Rita the ring post. This is where Big Bill hits a striking right hand right onto Willer Yuta, repeatedly doing that a couple of times in a row. This is where Willer Yuta tried to go for a chop. I was like, luckily not the deadliest, because it possibly would have been added to Gunther's list. This is where Big Bill hits a big boot right into his face, I believe, which made Willer Yuta go face first right into the canvas. This is where he picks him up. This is where he puts him right into him in Ricky Starks' corner, which is in the bottom right corner of Rita the ring post. This is where he hits a striking uppercut, which was very painful and devastating. This is where he started choking his throat and his neck, front of his throat first, right into right into the ropes. This is where the referee started his count like 1, 2, 3, like which he got him all before he got DQ'd. Even if he did got DQ'd, that would be championship advantage for Starks and Beal. But this is where Ricky Starks hits a flicking striking punch right onto Wheeler Yuta. But I think that wouldn't really even faze him because he gets already tormented enough in training when he trains with Bryan Danielson, Claudio, and Jon Moxley. This is where Wheeler Yuta was hanging onto the ropes. This is where he started hitting a chop and a right hand. This is where he started hitting chops and right hands repeatedly right onto Big Bill. But this is where he spun around Wheeler Yuta. This is where he throws him right on the outside. This is where Wheeler Yuta hanged on right to the apron. This is where he tried to attack Yuta right off the apron. This is where he did the smart move. He ducked and rammed and speared Big Bill right into the midsection. This is where Ricky Starks like, hey, what are you doing? Hey, what are you doing there? And this is where Wheeler Yuta's like, that's why I'm trying to ask you. This is where that's why I was about to ask you. Like, what are you trying to do? And then this is where this distraction did. This was a perfect distraction into the tag team match because like after that 1 second of keeping his eyes off of Big Bill, this is where Big Bill shoves him right off the apron, going across the former barricade, hitting his shoulder and side in the process. Like it was so brutally painful, like to see and painful to see. Like it looked like he could have been killed. Like if it wasn't if the move wasn't correctly executed, like into that spot, like he probably could have easily been killed by hitting such a move like that. Like even though it hit his arm and shoulder, than it did to his into his side and something internally, but still, like he put his shoulder to shield him into the process. This is where Ricky Starks was there. He started hitting him right across barricade or former barricade, and he started choking and trying to hanging Wheeler Yuta with the ropes, and he thrown him right across the ringside area into the other side over the barricade with the everybody in the audience, I should say, or in the everybody in the audience. This is where he finally brought him back in the ring. And then let's see right here. This is where Big Bill slams him right into the canvas. And this was so bad. I was feeling bad for poor Wheeler Yuta because it was like a 2-on-1 handicap match rather than a tag team match, because I don't think he ever tagged Claudio Castagnoli at all into this tag bout. That's where he started hitting the right hands towards the former Ring of Honor Pure champion. He Irish whipped him right to the corner. This is where he tried to wait for him to hit him with a body drop, but before he can even do that, it's where Wheeler Yuta hang on to the ropes. This is where Big Bill trying to say, fine, I'll just grab you myself. And this is where he grabbed onto the ropes, pulled it down, knock over Big Bill before he can even attack him. This is where Ricky Starks was like, all right, buddy, are you okay? Like, come on. Like, get back in this match and stop him from tagging Claudio. And this is where he started heading over to Big Bill was heading over to Wheeler while Ricky Starks was heading over to Claudio to knock him down. But Claudio said, like, I already prepared for you. Like, and then Ricky Starks like, oh, I was just saying hi. What's up to you? How you doing? And then this was the similar situation with Wheeler Yuta earlier, like when he was too distracted with Ricky Starks onto his side of the apron. Like, but this time instead of shoving like he did the Wheeler, he booted Claudio Castagnoli face first, right off the apron, and then landed onto the ringside area. This is where Ricky Starks spears Claudio right into some of the steel steps. This is where Ricky Starks goes right up on the corner. This is where he was waiting for Big Bill to tag him back in. This is where Big Bill tried to clothesline Wheeler Yuta, but Yuta ducked out of the way before he can even get smashed by him. This is where he boots Big Bill out of the way. This is where he tries to run up the Bill. This is where he gets hit him with a Big Bill slam right in the middle of the ring. This is where he only got a 2.999999999 0.1 away from being 3. This is where Big Bill was like, what the hell? Like, what the hell just happened? Like, he just kicked out of it. It is where he runs right to the ropes, hits a big elbow drop. I was like, man, I didn't see him did the slam, and I haven't seen him do the slam since his WWE days. Like, is this some kind of a shot at WWE, or is he going to bring it back into, except this time in All Elite Wrestling? But we're going to the only way to find out is to see if he starts doing it more often. This is where we try to go for another elbow drop, but Wheeler Yuta, thank God, moved right out of the way. This is where Wheeler Yuta hit the striking elbow right into the face of Big Bill. And then he also hit the big boot right to his face after he went right onto the top right corner when he rolled out of the way, when Big Bill tried to go for a second running elbow drop. And then this is where Big Bill tried to go for a splash, but he hits face first right on the top part of the ring post in the inside. This is where both men were down, like when he moved out. This is where Claudio tried to get back on the steps and try to tag in his Blackpool Combat Club buddy. And this is where are asking him to tag him in. This is where he's like, come on, you to tag in. Come on, tag me in. This is where he finally does tag him in when Ricky Starks getting tagged in by Big Bill. Claudio Castagnoli strikes of European uppercuts on both his left and right arms, like hitting European uppercut strikes after European uppercut strikes, like going back and forth with that maneuver. And then hit a striking clothesline repeatedly, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then this is where Claudio started twisting his arm, mocking Ricky Starks, going for the opposing walk, but he started going forward with his pelvis and hits a single chopping axe handle right onto that arm. It hits a missile drop kick as soon as Ricky Starks get back up. Claudio pins Ricky, but the referee counted to 1, the referee counted to 2, but he kicks out of 2.9 seconds. Claudio was like, how the hell he kicks out of that? But we're going to speed this up a little bit by what happened next. And then we're going to speed this up a little bit towards the end, like what happened next. This is where we're back in the match. This is where it was in a double team. They knocked down Claudio Castagnoli. This is where Big Bill hits a dominating sideways power bomb. And this is where Ricky Starks tried to go for a pin, but he only got a 1, he only got 2, and he would have won the match. If it hadn't been for Claudio Castagnoli went for the save. And he was like, all right, Willer, buddy, are you okay? Can you still do this? Yeah. And it was like, yes, he nodded. And this is where Ricky Starks picks him back up. This is where he tried to go for the absolute spear, but I'm not sure if that was going to work because when he tried to go for a spear, he gets kicked right into the head. He should have taken some pointers from Roman Reigns, learned from Roman Reigns, I should say, because when it comes to the spear, making it obvious, when every time you do so, you're going to get kicked in the head, like what some of Kevin Owens did in the past, like when he faced Roman Reigns. This is where he twists the arm, hits him with a spinning Olympic slam. This is where Wheeler Yuta tags in Claudio Castagnoli. This is where he hits a boot right into the face to Big Bill. This is where he hits a running clothesline right into the head. This is where he goes for a pin. This is where he only got a 1, he got a 2, but he got a 2.8 second count. And then this is where Claudio's like, how did he kick out of that? And Claudio's like, that's still not going to stop me from winning these tag team titles and bringing it to the BPCC. And then this is when the fans are like, yeah, spin them around. And Claudio's like, y'all want it? Y'all want, spinning time. And then this is where Claudio, like tags in Willer Yuta. This is where they're getting ready to do it. Like did the spinning kick move, something that like I said before, and I'll say it again, like similar to when his tag team alliance with Tyson Kidd at his time when they were the WWE Tag Team Champions. This is where they start spinning them around like 7, 8, 9, 10, like 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And then when he got to 18, he hit the drop kick. Like Willer Yuta, this is where he tried to pin him. He's only got a 1, he only got a 2. This would have been it. And we would have got new tag team champions if it had been for Big Bill coming for the save. This is where Claudio Castagnoli tried to even the odds, go back in the ring. This is where he tried to stop Big Bill from doing more damage as he already did. This is where this is where it was too late for him to do anything because Big Bill tried to grab him by the neck, try to choke slam him, and same with Willer Yuta. This is where they started. This is where they started countering, doing the. This is where Claudio Castagnoli hits a double axe handle. A double axle right off his right onto his forearm. This is where he started hitting. This is where he started hitting double. Hitting double fist on to the former Big Cass, I should say. And then this is where he pushed, and this is where Big Bill pushed Claudio Castagnoli, hits a big boot right into to Big Bill's face. This is where Claudio grabs. This is where he grabs Ricky Starks back in the middle of the ring. This is where we try to go for that. Try to go for the double team pin drop splash like Willer Yuta did last night when they were against those two jobbers that looked like family members of Stokely Hathaway and Prince Nana. This is where before they had a chance to do so. This is where the lights went out for the third time in a row. It's like, man, when is AEW's gonna fix that electrical issue? Like, and then this is where none other than the House of Black popped up out of nowhere and took Claudio Castagnoli out of the ring, clotheslined him through the former Barry Barricade into the audience, and then into the audience. Like, and this is where it was a 2-1 disadvantage, more like a 5-on-1 disadvantage with them being in ringside because Malachi Black was distracting the referee. This is where Ricky Starks took advantage, hits the absolute spear right on the Willer Yuta when he was thrown back. Willer Yuta was thrown back in the ring after getting attacked by the House of Black and Big Bill as well. And then he pins him. He got the 1, 2, 3, and it looks like it's about to continue to be and they retained the AEW World Tag Team Championships on tonight. So AEW Collision, I should have known because they're not going to lose those titles anytime soon. And also they had some little help by doing their dirty cheating work, which was the House of Black, which they did no favors for just only because they want to be in alliance with them. Is because they have some kind of hatred with the Blackpool Combat Club for some reason. Because first, at the beginning of the show, after he beat Andrade, Bryan Danielson got attacked by the House of Black, and then they did the FTR, but they were making so much enemies on tonight's AEW Collision that they forgot that there's not going to be no consequences of their actions. Like, even though because they look like they're about to make more enemies from with the new AEW tag team with Ricky Starks and Big Bill. Like, but it's like they're looking at them like, we'll worry about you later, because they started attacking Willer Yuta. It was in a disadvantage. Started double or even 5-way teaming poor Claudio and Willard. This is where FTR came out, started to fight off, help him try to fight off the House of Black, but the numbers game was getting the better of them, even with Bryan Danielson coming out there to help him. And also, but this is where finally John Moxley came out to finally even the odds. They hit John Moxley hits a striking forearm right to Big Bill, knocking his 7-foot ass out. This is where John Moxley comes in, fighting off the House of Black, start beating these guys up into the ring, turning it into a huge brawl and this is where the Blackpool Combat Club and FTR started to win and taking advantage of And then taking the advantage spot, I should say. This is where FTR came in, hits the shatter machine, and then the finishing touches of sending the heel factions packing. Like, even though there's no faction with Ricky Starks and Big Bill, just the duo. I say the House of Blacks and them packing. They hit the shatter machine. FTR hit the shatter machine of Ricky Starks, reminding them that they still want a rematch and they're gonna earn the rematch like Ricky Starks asked them to do. I think it's in the storage, Birdie. You have to ask mommy and daddy about that. But anyways, they hit the shatter machine. That's when AEW Collision ended. And I'll say for so many matches that were very good, but two shortest matches of the night was just very short, just to say the least. But despite that, I'm still giving it a 4 out of 5 star review into tonight's AEW Collision. What y'all thought about it? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. We're going to move on to the next event, which is AEW's Battle of the Belts show, which we're talking about right here, right now. And then we're going to move on right here towards it. Which we start off with the match, which was Orange Cassidy taking on what's his name? John Silver. That's who it was. Yeah, it was John Silver. But this is where he started staring at John Moxley, saying like, what, you want some of the shot of this championship? Yeah, I look like I'm about to go biking down a hill, like on the biggest hill that's in the city. But anyways, there you go, Birdie Bird. Here's your. Let's see.
He's gonna smear.
Okay, let's talk about right here, right now. Okay, it looks like I'm going to have to be the short version. How to make a short version of this Battle of the Belts review. I would say, but yeah, they got into a brawl altercation because John Moxley shoves what's his name's face into shoves Orange Cassidy's face right off, and then this is where Orange Cassidy got pissed off. He knew he got into a fist altercation, but he saved it into the match. But I'll say, long story short, this is where Big Pickles, what are you doing? This is where we have the match, and then they went back and forth, and then they're like, and what's his name was hitting him with his move so much, trying to he could win this, but there was only going to be near fall after near fall until Orange Cassidy hits the orange punch for the 1-2-3, and I believe the what's that? I forget that move where he flips him over into a and they like in a Alabama slam, but he slams him back like a death flip. Got the 1-2-3. Still the AEW International Championship, and then up next we have the AEW TBS Championship, I believe. And oh no, wait, this is where we have a match with Samoa Joe against what's his name, Tony Nese. There's Smart Mark Sterling bragging about like you obnoxious fans are gonna respect and bow to us as my client, the premier athlete, Tony Nese, is gonna be the new AEW tag team. I mean, not Ring of Honor, not the AEW, the Ring of Honor TV Championship. And I was like, man, like Tony Nese used to have been way more cooler than this, even as a cruiserweight championship. But it's a shame that he's not using AEW's using him as in a bigger main storyline manner, like in AEW, and without Smart Mark Sterling as his manager, because like he didn't need no manager when he was in NXT's 205 Live show in WWE, when he was the former NXT Cruiserweight Championship. But this is where Samoa Joe came out. This match barely lasted for probably a minute or two because he was hitting him with nothing but his moves, and I believe he hit him with his Coquina clutch, which he put him to sleep, and he retained his Ring of Honor World Championship. And then he made his presence known that he wants the shot at MJF's championship again, and he won't rest until he finally gets that puts MJF to sleep and take his title away from him before Jay White can. And then, or I won't say before, I'll say more like they do something that Jay White will fail to do, I should say. And then this is where we have the AEW TBS Women's Championship, which is Chris Statlander taking on Willow Nightingale. Like this is where we have like, and this was probably the second match of this night, like because because Willow Nightingale tried to hit her with plenty of moves, even the Death Valley Driver, which is known as the most dominating move in all sports entertainment because it's my signature move, of course, after it being Tommy Dreamer's finishing move. But anyways, and she also tried to hit a most devastating. She also tried to hit the most the avalanche version of the Death Valley Driver, but still couldn't put her away with the move. She was like, "Oh, come on!" She tried to go up on the top rope, try to hit her with that top rope corner splash, I should call it. Like, but Chris Statlander managed to get her off the top rope. I believe she hit her. That's how she hit her with the Saturday Night Fever. My apologies for the tongue tie. She hit her with the maneuver. She got the 1-2-3, and she managed to get the win. And she managed to get the win, and it looks like she was about to handshake. She started the handshake Willow Nightingale. This is where you're looking for this? Here you go. You're welcome. This is where she tried to handshake Willow Nightingale. She was hesitant at first. This is where Sky Blue went in. She tried to talk Willow Nightingale out of handshaking Chris Statlander's hand. She was like, no, like, come to think of it, she earned my respect because she gave me a very honest fight, and she respectfully did so in the process. And then she handshaked her like, yeah, you gave me a fight of my night, like, if not my life. And this is where she got out of the ring like, I have nothing but respect for both of you women. Like, you girls sell this out like yourselves. Which I think Willow's finally out of the Black Mist spell that Black Mist spell that Julia Hart put her on for now, at least. Unless Julia Hart finds Willow Nightingale and spit her more mist right in her face. But she's still Sky Blue still doesn't trust Chris Statlander for some reason, for God knows what reason. She started giving her a death mugging glare to Chris Statlander, and she was like, she walked out of there. I was What's her problem? Even though she's been spat with that mist in her eyes, she still don't have no reason to not trust Chris Statlander. It's not like she's going after her championship if she ever have one. But at this time, at least in the AEW's perspective, or even Ring of Honor, that's not the case. She's not the champion. It's more like the other way around. It's like Chris Statlander should not trust Sky Blue for the Guy Blue, because she could stab her right into the back at any moment. But what do you think? Do you think Willow's still going to be in the storyline and possibly be Julia Hart's minion into this storyline? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. But we're going to move on to the next match, which was the 6-man tag match, which it was the Acclaim taking on Daniel Garcia and Angelo Parker and Matt Menard. But the whole time in the match, Daniel Garcia did not attempt to do that dance to provoke what's his name? Do the dance to provoke Matt Menard into this match. But before we even have this match, this is where we had a scissoring with the Memphis Bears, because they was in Memphis, Tennessee. But they did the scissoring thing, like the scissoring, I should say, what's that? Ritual. No, I'll say ritual. I would say the gathering scissoring, like a friendship, I should say. So they have the match, and then I'll say I believe it was a 3-on-1. I think it was a 3-on-1 disadvantage with Max Caster getting triple teamed by the former JAS members. This is where he started stopping them, doing the handicap 3-on-1 situations. This is where he tags. This is where he tags in. I believe was Billy Gunn. He was hitting his comeback moves onto the JAS guys. This is where. And then at the end of the match, this is where I think it was Daniel Garcia was in the ring. This is where he tags in Max Caster. Everybody thought he was going to do the mic drop, elbow drop, but perhaps do a double team maneuver inside of the ring. But this is where Anthony Bowens came in. He was like, "Scissor me, Timber!" And he hits the leg drop right onto right where it hurts the most. This is where he tried to pin him. I believe Angelo Parker came for the save, but they managed to knock him out of the. They managed to get him out of the ring. This is where Daniel Garcia was in the ring alone with, I believe, Max Caster. This is where he started trying to do the dance like that. He did a little bit of it. Let's hope Daddy Magic Matt Menard don't see it, so he won't get pissed off at Max Caster. I mean, not Max Caster. Oh, bad. Again? What the heck? Oh, my jeez. Anyways, this is where he tried to go for a power bomb. This is where what's his name? Yeah, of course, yeah. I'm not him. But anyway, this is where hey, I gave you a hug. Shout out to Birdie Bird, or not shout out. I guess the cameo appearance Atreyu here, Birdie Bird. I call him Birdie Bird. Yeah, Uncle Super Ninja Austin's nephew. Uncle Super Ninja Austin loves you too. But anyway, this is where Billy Gunn came in the ring, hits a famous right onto Daniel Garcia. This is where Max Caster tags in tags in Anthony Bowens. Oh, be careful, Birdie. Hey, that's where they hit their Magic Killer superplex jig maneuver, or should I say the scissoring flipping maneuver. I don't know the name specifically, but he hits the maneuver. He got the 1-2-3, and they got the 1-2-3, and they're still. Uncle Super Ninja Austin loves you too. But anyway, this is where the Acclaim were. But yeah, the Acclaim are still the AEW Trios Tag Team Championships. And who do you think is going to be their next opponents? Hopefully they have an opponent that they're going to be in a rivalry with, and not just a title match, just because they're number one contenders. Yeah. And I hope you enjoyed my nephew here accompanying us at the end of this video. And I'll say the Battle of the Belts, I'll say deserves a decent 3.5 stars out of 5 review, on my opinion. And how will you review AEW Collision and AEW's Battle of the Belts Part 8? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. And hopefully y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave a huge thumbs up and subscribe. Click the bell notifications so you won't miss my upcoming videos. And then make sure you watch more of my videos onto this channel at Super Ninja Austin 213. And make sure you share all of our social media, whether it be in Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, WhatsApp, Telegram, you name it. Like, share it all across the web and the media, and make this channel even bigger, and support SNA, your boy SNA here. And speaking of SNA, I've been your host, Super Ninja Austin. This was the 80th edition of the SNA podcast, and in the AEW Collision Review Part 10, and slash AEW Battle of the Belts, because the Acclaimed defend their Trios Tag Team Championship, Orange Cassidy defended his International Championship, and Samoa Joe defended his Ring of Honor TV Championship. And what's her name? Chris Statlander defended her AEW TBS Championship. I'm glad that she didn't have a leg injury in the process of beating Willow Nightingale, just like another a women's star that faced Willow Nightingale before, but in New Japan Pro Wrestling, of course. But when it was in the tournament for the finals of the New Japan Strong Women's Championship. But yeah, hopefully for a speedy recovery soon for the lady that faced Willow at the Resurgence New Japan event. But anyways, yeah, like this video, comment, subscribe, click the bell notifications, and make sure y'all watch my tomorrow's video, which is the Wrestling News Part 18. Yeah, it's gonna be the Wrestling News video Part 18, and this will be my 81st episode of the SNA podcast. Of a little reminder. And make sure, and see you guys there. And hope y'all have a great Saturday night, or had a great Saturday night, I should say, because it's about to head over to Sunday, till the late Sunday night morning, I should say. But yeah, but until then, I'm gonna see you guys, and glad to see you guys too in the comment section below. In the meantime, keep on YouTubing. And until tomorrow afternoon in the wrestling news video, Super Ninja Austin, the Assassin, is out. Good night, everybody. Have a wonderful night, folks.